in the service of Mother Ghana.
This is quite, even if you were managing assets when you were in the banking sector, this will be quite a huge asset that you are overseeing. Do you see that as challenging, interesting, or it has been a learning experience that you have picked up so fast to move things on?
I think it's interesting, but importantly as well, I see it much more as people. Because in the trust, every decision we make is impacting lives, impacting families. So when you look at it from that perspective, you'll be conscious of the decisions you make, and you'll be motivated to get the best out there for the Ghanaian people.
How is the scheme doing right now? Maybe the numbers might be looking good, but some would say that how is the Social Security and National Insurance Trust as an institution? Before we get into the fine numbers, the state, we hear the president do the State of the Nation address, the state of SSNIT as we speak now.
George, SSNIT is doing very, very well. Operationally, we are stronger than we've ever been. One of the first decisions that the new administration here took was to review our processes and to see the areas that we needed to improve. Secondly, we embarked on what we call a customer journey mapping exercise to go through the processes that anyone who enters our branches would go through, to see what needed to be tweaked, what needed to be changed, and how best we could bring efficiency and convenience to what we do, especially with regard to the people that we serve. And that was refreshing. So that actually resulted in a situation where today the processing of pensions has come down to only 7 days. It was part of that operational efficiency that we sought to provide. Mind you, once you become operationally strong, it becomes the building block on which you can then start getting the numbers, because it's the activities and the decisions that you make that would ultimately give you the outcome that you seek.
Help me out when you say that the process has now been reduced to 7 days. So if today I contributed whilst I was I'm on the scheme, and then help me out when you explain that it has now taken 7 days to process what, please?
Okay, so let's say you've gone on pension now. All your documents are right and you submitted them to us. On average now, it takes us 7 days to process your request to be put on the pension payroll to the very end. Because remember, we will need to do some investigations, we need to pick files, do some validations and all that. So that's what it means.
I knew that some time back you embarked on a project to kind of automate the system. How has that also played a significant role in this 7 days processing and trying to reduce the human element to fast-track things?
Automation has really helped. But one of the things that I believe we need to work on is the mindset shift as to the use of our digital channels. You know, if you've invested in technology, but you haven't gotten people to accept it and use it, you will not get the benefits that you seek. And that is why we currently have set up a department whose core job is to look at our digital channels, to get people to use it, to get feedback and ensure that consistently we are nimble and improving for people to use with ease and convenience. So that really has been part of the success story. Now, the other thing is that we also made a conscious decision that we wanted digital to be default. And once digital is default, we need to go out there, let people know the convenience and ease that our digital channels bring, so that people use it, and then face-to-face becomes complementary to the digital use, which is more convenient. Today, you wake up in the morning and probably the first thing you pick is your phone. You probably will go on WhatsApp. Let's look at how we live our lives. And let's give solutions that mimic how we live our lives. And through that, we bring convenience and service to the people that we serve.
Before I get deep into the bit about the contributions, I just want to backtrack a little bit also about the people as well. How have they also aided this transformation? Because some are saying that in the change culture, the people matter a lot in trying to make the scheme more appealing, the scheme addressing the content. The SSNIT and the people who drive this scheme, How have they contributed to this change thing that you made us aware or you talked about?
George, our people in this house are truly our strength. And we really value the people that we work with. I've met some amazing people with great ideas, great insight, and everything that we've built to date has been built by the people that we met in the trust. There's nobody on ESCO today who was brought from outside except myself and my 3 deputies. So it's testament to the strength of the human capital that we have in this institution. And a lot of the things that we've built have come from great minds and great people in the trust. Again, one of the first things that we did was that we made an innovative culture as part of our new blueprint. So we quickly set up an email address where people could share innovative ideas on how to make us efficient, attractive, and accessible to the people that we serve. And oftentimes, a lot of the ideas that have come up have come through that medium.
Do you think that SSNIT today is more efficient than just a year ago? I won't go too far, because the concern about some of these state institutions is about the fact that they are too slow in getting things done. Just backtrack just a year ago. Do you think that you're more efficient now in your operations, in the fund management, in getting things done?
Yes, we are more nimble now than we've ever been. And let me give you an example. Internally, we had a situation where one of our biggest cost line items was our medicals. So we quickly tasked the internal IT team to develop a solution that would enable us monitor our bills. Because there were times staff would tell us we never went to the clinic, yet we are being billed. We developed an in-house solution within 3 months. So now, once you go into the clinic, you get the opportunity to validate the bills yourself. And it's giving us results that show that truly there were times that we were billed for services that were never rendered to our people. That's operational efficiency in operation.
Let's look at contributions to the scheme. How is it doing?
We're doing very well with regards to our contributions. Currently, the private sector accounts for about 58% of the contributions that come in, with the public sector accounting for 42%. The private sector employs 2/3 of our membership, so they are very strong force. Contributions from the public sector has also been very stable, and I'd want to commend my boss, the finance minister, and government for helping us in that regard, because for the full year 2025, government ended the year without owing any man's contribution and actually cleared arrears from 2024 by Q1 last year. That helped with our contribution numbers significantly. This year has not been different. Jan to date, government has been regular with payments.
And this is not with the issuance of bonds or securities or papers. What has been the form of this payment when it comes to government honoring the payments of these public sector workers?
Most of the payments have been cash. In fact, more than 70% of the payments have been cash. The only time that there was an instrument was for October to December last year. So we had an instrument issued in December, which was a T-bill. So it's actually a short-term instrument maturing this year. That was issued for October, November, December. But beyond that, all the payments from last year to date have been...
Was there a debt before, if you could even backtrack a year ago, that all of them have been paid that can be quantified?
So for 2024, government owed 1,050 million cedis. But by the end of March 2025, government had paid that in cash.
2025 as well?
2025, there's no arrears. We didn't enter. In fact, by the time we're entering 2026, government had actually paid ahead. Because, you know, as the month, at the end of the month, the SSNIT contributions come in by day 14 of the subsequent month. So we are in June. We expect May's contributions to start coming in latest from the 14th. Government in December last year actually made part payments of the bill that will be due in January for December last year, So by the time we got into January this year, government only owed a portion of December 2025 contribution. And that had never happened.
I mean, what is the scheme doing differently to get government honor its obligations? Because there are a lot of pressures on and I know that I don't envy the finance minister at all. In terms of signing the checks, there would always be priority. What has the trust been doing, or what proposals or what pressures are the managers giving to government that they appear to be honoring all these obligations now? There's
been a lot of engagement. Engagement with government as the broader group, engagement with the finance minister, who has responsibility towards the trust as the supervising minister. That has really, really, really helped. The second is that the finance minister particularly appreciated the state of the trust and recognizes the importance with which the contributions will have to come in and come in on time. George, you know, the private sector, like I said, contribute 58%. Now, and
they have always been very regular,
yes,
per your reports and the numbers that you put together.
Now, the private sector contribution, it's roughly just a little below how much we need to pay for pensions every month. So if government doesn't pay on time, it means we need to disinvest existing investments to be able to pay. And the finance minister has been dedicated towards avoiding us getting into that space, because you can't improve on the assets under management if you are disinvesting from earlier investments just to pay pensions. So that consciousness by the finance minister, that level of engagement and rapport between the finance ministry and us has really helped in driving what we see.
Help me with this 101 pensions here. And sometimes we hear people complaining, I have contributed to the scheme. And I look at sometimes the lowest person being paid on the scheme, about 200 or 300 or 400. And somebody else is getting as much as a million or 200 or whatever I stand to educate it. Why that wide disparity? Does it boil down to how much you pay whilst you are working? And sometimes the advice to people is that, listen, don't be happy if a chunk of your salaries are being migrated to allowance and not meeting your SSNIT obligations. Help me appreciate why we still have this wide disparity. If I'm still paying maybe 10% of my salary to the scheme, and somebody is doing 10% of the salary to is contributing to the scheme, why that huge disparity in terms of the benefits that someone is earning when they've gone on pension?
It's largely a function of how much you earn, because our scheme is a defined benefit scheme. So right from the beginning, one of the important factors in the calculation is the average of your best 3 years contribution. So if the contribution numbers are high during that period, then clearly your pension amounts will be high. Another factor is the pension rights. By pension rights, you know, once you do the minimum required to qualify for pension, which is 15 years, you start at 37.5% of that average. Okay. Now, each year, an additional 1.15, 1.2 roughly adds. So if the more you do, the higher your pension right, until you get to the highest pension right of 60%. So if your contribution is low, you likely will be getting lower pensions. A lot of the people that are on the base pension of currently 400 cedis, and remember the base pension had stayed at 300 from 2019 till this year when we reviewed it.
I'll come to whether
400
reviewed or not yet.
to 400 cedis. Those people, they are actually awarded. If you actually use the pension calculation, anybody in that bracket hasn't earned that minimum pension. We just made a conscious decision that this is the minimum that we would give anybody on our payroll, irrespective of what they are entitled to. So it's a function of that. And you raise a very important point, income consolidation. In the past, some allowances were not taxed. So people will try and ask, oh, why don't you increase our allowances? Remember that our pension as it is today is on the big salary. So if you push your benefits more into allowances, you are denying yourself of your future. And that's why I always encourage people anytime I get the opportunity to engage, that let's be conscious to improve on our basic salary, because that is the base on which our pension rights are calculated. That is the base on which our contributions are also calculated.
Who should be ensuring this? I know that I don't think that is part of your mandate, but help me out that as part of your public good and all the rest. Is this something that you want to venture in? Because it appears that for a lot of people out there, I don't remember, or they don't remember the last time they checked their payslip to even see the deductions. I am working, you are being paid like 15,000, 20,000, you are happy. You only have to retire to realize that your employer was not doing the necessary deductions right. Who should ensure that this
that responsibility is ours? The law actually mandates the trust with that responsibility. And that is why the law has also even given us enforcement powers. So that responsibility is ours. However, we need partners. And one of the partners in that whole ecosystem is you, the beneficiary, to also check. And currently, it's very easy. On our app, you can check your contribution history so that you can flag some of these things to us quickly. We will continue to do what we need to do to protect you. But it's a collaborative effort whilst we have the legal mandate to ensure enforcement.
You spoke about enforcement, and let's look at compliance. Because there have been instances where you have to take on some institutions, and it's good that government is showing the way, so the private sector may have to follow as well. What are you doing in that area of compliance to ensure that if George Wiafe and Co employs people, he pays them, and he's deducting a fraction of their salary for SSNIT contributions, and he's not doing that? What happens to George Wiafe and Co?
We've now defined compliance as a relationship problem, much more than an enforcement problem. So we're beginning to conscientize our members who go, the compliance officers who go onto the field, that seek to understand the businesses, be embedded in their operations. You will find out much more when you are engaging them regularly, when you are managing them as part of a pool that you are seeking to grow. When they are having challenges, you would know. When they are in boom periods, you will know. You would even find informal ways of validating the numbers that you are, because you understand the client and you are really managing the client from that perspective. So we've begun training our compliance officers to look at compliance from that angle. But of course, the law also gives us the enforcement right. So where we've engaged, we've jawed, we've sat down, we've negotiated, and all that is not working, then the last resort is for us to go to court to enforce and protect the worker.
And have you reached a situation before that you have to go through that route to ensure enforcement?
Yes, there's been situations like that. This year, for instance, in I believe sometime end of March, early April, we began a certain enforcement process, what we call mass prosecutions, to send a message out there that we need to do the right thing, and the time to do it was then.
Have you been able to recover quite a significant amount of money?
Yes, and interestingly, when you begin some of those processes, that in itself pushes people to start doing the right thing, because nobody wants to go through the whole court process. So it's been very helpful. That enforcement power helps us, but we believe that a stronger power is in relationship than just going to court and seeking to enforce.
You talked about digitization, and how has this digitization and efficiency of the scheme also play when it comes to payment of contributors fund? Because there are times when you see some of these people on pension going through public transport system, walking to the banks. Sometimes, I don't know the situation now, but those times you see them walking to pension house with their cars, trying to make sure that the payments have been done. I'm supposed to have updated my data. I haven't done that, so I've not gotten my money for the past 2 months or 1 month. I'm using that for medication. How has the system been able to address that problem of simplifying the process and making sure that if Ajua Mansa from Mantimankebi has contributed to the scheme for about 20 years, she can have access to her pensions way back in her village?
George, that digital journey over the period has really brought efficiency into our operations. Now, you would realize that today, whenever we send the money to the banks, even before the bank credits our members' account, we send notifications to the member to let them know that your money has already been sent to your bank. We explored paying some pensioners through Momo. However, the survey results that we got, over 64% were uncomfortable with Momo. So we've currently written to the MPRA seeking to make it optional for people who opt for that service. Thirdly,
they still want to walk to the bank and do
they still want to walk to the
bank. My grandmother.
Yeah, like your grandmother. But going forward, some of the initiatives that we are bringing would also help pay in a much more easier way than we've had. So for instance, we are currently working on a member value program with one of our investee companies or a bank that we have investment in. The essence of that membership value proposition is to enable our members benefit from discounts when they go to retail outlets. So we negotiated with a couple of retail outlets and they've given us discounts for our members. We then got into the stage where we needed to identify how our members could be identified at the till point, and also for us to get the data for how the service was helping our members. And we got in touch with the bank. We almost there at the stage where I am confident that as we go into July, definitely we'll launch the member value proposition latest second week of July. It will come with a co-branded Visa card. Currently, you will have to load to get the benefits out. But we are beginning to think along the path that once that is successful, if you are opting that your pension should be paid onto the card, we will do so, because then you no longer need to load the card. Once you get to the till point, your card is already loaded with your pensions, so it's all about spending and enjoying the discounts that is coming from the member value program that we've embarked upon. So some of these initiatives are being put in place to make payments to our members or our beneficiaries as pensioners easier, seamless, and more friendly for the use for which they need their money.
So when we come back, Bani, I want to look at managing this funds and also what goes into the investment decisions of SSNIT. There have been, in the past, there have been serious questions about how you are managing this fund, and even the bit about, let's say, should there be a time that we can be contributing more to the scheme in terms of the sustainability. So this SPM Express Business Edition, I'm engaging the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust as we look at how do we sustain this scheme going forward. We'll be right back after this break.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number one, let's bring Baby Car. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber?
For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it they carry water, no wahala.
Syntex pipe, it they make water they flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
They tee up someone in red, and it goes to
That's who goes for.
What 5 Champions League? You want to know?
I be the real goat, Chairman. I be the real goat. The left magician.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
No, that shit. You two they lie, eh? Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
Hey. You are lying. Ghana Jollof.
Are you with here? Forget everybody. Yeah.
My guy.
Put some respect on the goat.
On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama.
Every year we dey give to you back to We are talking about BET. I was in your face. Except be the goat, huh? My guy, him be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomobitus always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 and recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number 1, let's bring Baby Car. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Cut. Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it dey carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it dey make water dey flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
Can he tee up someone in red? In it goes to
That's who goes for. What's 5 Champions League? You want to know? I be the real goat.
Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigeria Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell alone. Oh my God.
No, that shift. You two they lie. Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top.
Hey! You are lying. Ghana Jollof.
And you been here, forget everybody. Yeah.
My guy.
What you put some respect on the goat.
On the goat. The only goat I know lives in Tama.
Every year, we dey give to you back to back.
We are talking about BET. I was in your face.
Except be the goat, huh?
My guy, him be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomobitus always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment.
Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 and recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Welcome back to PM Express Business Edition. As I engage the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust on the sustainability of the SSNIT pension scheme. I was talking about managing this scheme and making sure that the returns are good. What has influenced the trust's investment decisions? I know that there are policies that guide it as well, but has there been a review of that policy, investment policy, or it has been the same old thing, and how you place these funds and ensure that the scheme is very, very liquid to be able to meet all these monthly pension contributions?
George, thank you very much. The investment policy of the scheme was recently reviewed just last year and approved by the NPRA, our regulator, with clear guidelines on areas in which we can currently invest and the expectations from stakeholders. The thinking now is to move about 60% of our assets under management into fixed income securities. And it was based on the data. Based on the data, fixed income securities were giving us the best real return on investment. So that's actually what informed that, together with the fact that we are also a matured scheme. And hence, you need a lot more liquidity than investing in difficult to realize immediately assets. So that has guided some of the decisions we've made in terms of the policy side. Operationally, however, we've been conscious about the prudence with which we make our investment decisions. The real return that we seek from the investments is the overriding principle that currently guides our investment decision-making process. How quickly we can also get the money back, the payback period, has been a major factor as well, because once you are a mature scheme like ours, you need to make sure that the investments you are making are not only yielding the returns, but they are yielding the returns to come in at the time that you need it for the payment of pensions. Our scheme is a partially funded scheme. When I say partially funded scheme, in a year in which, for instance, contributions that come in aren't adequate to pay pensions, we will need to follow our investment to pay. For some schemes, it's a pay-as-you-go. So in those schemes, if this year our pension payout requires us to collect contributions at 18%, that 18% then defines it. Nothing is kept for investment. So a pay-as-you-go is a straight match of contributions coming in against payment, and it closes each year. But ours is different. Ours is a partially funded one. So there's been times in the past where our benefits payout were actually more than the contributions that came in. And that's why prudence in the way we invest, the guiding principles around our investment matrices needs to be strictly adhered to protect the scheme.
This review that you spoke about in terms of moving it more to liquid assets, if I stand to use it rather, there's treasury bills and all the rest, what would be the implications of that on some of the current investment that you have? You have some significant holdings in the financial sector. I stand to be corrected. I don't know any financial institution worth its while in this country that SSNIT has not got a stake in it in central investment. What would this review in your investment positioning or standing or post, if I can use that expression, mean for these other investment or assets or current holdings that you have as we speak right now?
Whilst the investment policy provides some policy guidelines, we also need to be conscious of market dynamics. So for instance, last year and even this year, we've invested additional money in some banks. Because why? Because they are giving us good returns. And beyond, the banking sector gives us the best with regards to our dividend history as a trust.
Interesting.
Yes, by far. Okay. Now, if you also have a bank that you need to help capitalize, you will. Conscious of the fact that there's growth in that investment. If you take a look at our assets under management, part of the reason for the significant growth in our assets under management has been the performance of some of the banking stocks on the stock exchange. Take a look at EcoBank, take a look at StanChart, take a look at GCB. It's been phenomenal growth with regards to those investments. So yes, we're seeking to invest fresh capital, fresh liquidity, mostly into fixed income securities, but we are also tapping into other opportunities that come up. As we sit here, we have significant investment in terms of value in MTN. And we will seek to put more money in MTN when shares are available.
Rights issues and all the rest.
Because it's the right thing to do. Their returns, the returns we've had from our investment in MTN has been super good. And now MTN has even gotten into the space where they want to be paying quarterly dividends. That's actually moving it from a pure dividend structure to like like a bond structure that gives you a certain assurance of liquidity every quarter. So when you have investments like that coming onto the market, it may not be a fixed income security, but it's one that meets the ultimate goal that you seek to have. So yes, we're doing that. We're putting more money into our energy investments because that energy investment has grown. And it has given us value. So not only are we getting value, but we are also helping Power Ghana. So those decisions would also come in. But broadly, we've sought to invest more of our fresh liquidity coming in into the fixed income.
And that energy has to do with that independent power producer.
The independent power producer, SSNIT Energy. I mean, SSNIT currently at Intema has 110 megawatts plant. Hopefully, getting into latest July, we should be commissioning another new 110 megawatt plant in Awomasu in Kumasi for SSNIT Energy. We've started the process, and I believe that shipping will be starting soon for another 330 megawatts power plant for SSNIT Energy as part of our investment diversification strategy and pool.
I know you. For you spoke of an instance where the payout has been more than what has come in. Again, in doing all these things, are you guided by this philosophy or principle that these investments should be made in a way that at any point in time when I want to call on the cash, if I could use that word literally, I would not be struggling?
George, let me tell you, our liquidity is very strong. We've paid pensions successfully for the past 60 years and will never fail. Today, as we speak, our fund ratio has improved beyond what it was years ago. By the fund ratio, how long it will take us to pay pension benefits, assuming no contribution comes at all.
How many years?
Per the last actuarial report, it's really come significantly. Some of these numbers, we will have to manage them. But truth is, that has improved. Our pension payout, like I said, there were years in which our payout was higher than our contribution rate. Today, our payout has dropped from the over 100% down to around 78% and coming down further. The way to bring further down is to get new members to join the scheme. And that's why we've tried to improve on accessibility. Once we are accessible to the people who need to engage us, it becomes easier to enroll new members. So on our digital channels, you can easily do self-enrollment. Through our virtual branch, you can easily enroll with us. Beyond the traditional branches of the trust, we've now entered into co-location arrangement with banks, where you just go there. Trained officers are posted into the banking halls of the banks so that they can assist you and provide the full bouquet of our services as if you have entered our branch. Today, you don't need to move from Akosombo to Somina to have SSNIT services. You go to Akosombo GCB. Today, you don't need to move from Mpraiso down to Nkoko. You go to CBG Mpraiso, you are served. You go to Ring Road today, you don't need to move to the closest SSNIT office. At Ecobank Ring Road, you are served. Yeah. If you go to the Savalugu Road, coming from Boga, you don't need to get to our office. Once you get to Kamina Barras area, you have an Ecobank there.
I know the Ecobank Rigo because I bank there, so I know that I see officers there as well.
Exactly. So with that strategy, we've moved beyond our core touch points into partner touch points and serving our people better. And this year alone, we plan to have 50 such touch points this year to ensure that we are really, really, really accessible to the people that we serve, because that's one of the ways to grow this.
In terms of this actual report, how current is this report? Because I remember in the past there was this WHO report or ILO, there have been some think tanks that have put out some report that have raised concerns about the sustainability of this SSNIT pension scheme. How current was this analysis that was done?
Yeah, let me tell you, our scheme is robust and very sustainable.
How robust?
I'll tell you. The most recent actuarial report was made available to us this year. External actuarial report done by the Government Actuarial Department of the UK. The previous one was done by the ILO. That was based on 2020 numbers. And it flagged some issues that we needed to work on, without which we could risk the scheme. So what was important was for management to look at the report and respond with the right strategies to solve for the issues that have been raised. The current one that was just made available to us this year was based on 2023 numbers. And that one alone tells us that based on the new report, our sustainability has moved by an extra 40 years. That's even based on 2023 numbers. We are required to have an external actuarial exercise every 3 years. So at the end of this year, there will be another actuarial exercise into 2027. I am confident that that would even move us into safer waters, much, much safer waters. Why do I say so? In 2024, the government of Ghana had owed the SSNIT for about 18 months in contribution arrears. That was paid with some government bonds in around May 2024, about 2.5 billion cedis in May 2024. That clearly brings in extra liquidity into the trust. Current government has no owed, so our liquidity is much stronger than it's ever been. That improves it. We have expanded on coverage. Because part of the issues that was raised was the need for us to expand coverage quickly and improve on compliance numbers as well. So we've expanded coverage. In our current medium-term strategy, which has just been approved for 2026 to 2028, we are moving coverage from 2.1 million members at the end of 2025 to 2.8 million members by 2028, an average growth of about 300,000 new members per year. And this year, we are on track. Once we get these numbers right, it further improves the trust. Our assets under management has grown astronomically.
Ending last year, how much was that?
Ending last year, our assets under management was worth in excess of 27 billion. At the end of 2024, our assets under management was 20.4 billion. 2025, we ended with 27 billion. Our real return on investment, in fact, if you take out 2021, our real return on investment from 2020 had been negative. In 2025, our real return on investment was 8.02% growth, up from a 2024 negative figure of 4.2. As at March this year, our assets under management again has grown to over 33 billion, with our real return on investment being in excess of 15% plus. So clearly, this is a scheme that is doing well. The numbers have improved, and we are in a much better space than we were 2020 or 2020.
So the concerns about the sustainability of the scheme and the scheme is under threat is not well grounded per these external, and I could hammer on the word, independent actual reports.
No, our scheme is not in danger. However, for any scheme like ours, we need to be agile. We need to respond right when risks are flagged, and for us to take the critical decisions required to ensure that we address those risks so that the red flags that have been flagged do not come hitting us. For me, that's the most important aspect of the evaluation exercise or the actual evaluation exercise that is done every 3 years.
I mean, there were also talk about increasing the contributions as well to this. And I know it's something that it has to be grappled with. This is PM Express Business Age. We'll be right back after this break.
Did you know that Ghana currently spends more than 8 billion Ghana cedis annually importing food that can be produced locally? That is why this June, Joy Business and the Super Morning Show, in partnership with the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters, FAGE, bring you the Joy Agribusiness Month 2026 under the theme, From Soil to Sovereignty, Building Ghana's Agricultural Self-Reliance Through Innovation. Join us on the Joy Super Morning Show, Joy News, and across Joy Business platforms for a month-long national conversation on Ghana's food security and agribusiness future. Week 1 focuses on government policy, trade and financing for food sovereignty. Week 2 explores research, innovation, mechanization. Week 3 examines infrastructure, value addition, youth participation and agricultural financing, while Week 4 highlights opportunities across key horticulture value chains. The final week looks at consumer power and Ghana's roadmap to food sovereignty by 2030. Stay tuned to Joy FM and Joy News.
Numerous cases of people falling asleep have been reported across the African continent. No one can explain this phenomenon.
With 24/7 FIFA World Cup coverage, sleep can wait. Everything can wait.
Catch all 104 matches from as little as 98 Ghana cedis only on GoTV.
We're kicking your year off in all her glory with more because we got you.
You get it?
You know that we got kicks, we got scores, we got action, we got roars.
It's my specialty.
We got drama, we got fun. We got more for everyone with an upgrade on us just for you. More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay.
We got you.
DSTV, we got you all the way.
Welcome back to PM Express Business Edition as we look at sustaining the SSNIT pension scheme in Ghana. What are the threats? And with all these external pressures, are we in safe hands that when you go on retirement, you can be enjoying your pension in peace and not in pieces? I'm engaging the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance Trust. So I get that firm assurance from you that you can go to sleep because your contributions are safe in terms of it being tested, as in the safety as well. We don't see any threat as we speak right now.
No, George. As we speak right now, your trust, our trust, is in safe waters. As we speak right now, per the last actuarial report, okay, it takes us into 2072.
And these are independent.
This was done by
actors.
the Government Actuarial Department of the United Kingdom.
Okay.
It takes us to 2072 based on 2023 numbers. And like I said, 2024 numbers, 2025 numbers are far better than 2023 numbers. And I'm confident in the strategies we've put in place to expand coverage, improve on investment, get greater returns on our investments, reduce our cost to serve. All these measures would help grow the fund. Now, on the bit of even support, currently, on average, we have 8 active members supporting each pensioner. That is in line with international best practice. 8 to 1. It's in line with ISA's own guidelines. So I am pretty confident of where the scheme sits today.
What do you make of proposals that maybe the time has also come to improve contributions as well to this? I know it's something that it has to go through MPRA and all those things, but do you think that it's something that needs to be given that listening ear? I know that your biggest contributor, government, has to give the blessings and all those things. Should we see some marginal review, something that you propose to your board, to government stakeholders to take a second look at whether we should look at reviewing the contributions to the scheme?
There are current ongoing conversations around how best to improve on contributions that come in. One of the ways out is to consolidate salaries, because even at that same rate, it means that the contributions will be more than they are today. One of the conversations that had come up is to consider an increase in rate. But mind you, there is a limit to which you can just use rate increases to improve the numbers. Ghana, as we speak today, we are only second to Guinea-Bissau in terms of contribution rate. Guinea-Bissau is at 22%. Ghana, mandatory for the scheme we run, is at 18.5%. And I say for the scheme we run because our scheme is for pensions and invalidity. There are some schemes that do things like accidents, dependents. So if you take Senegal, for instance, Senegal is actually the only African country in the top 20 globally in terms of rates. They are at 37%, the mandatory scheme. But their benefits are totally different. So their structure is different. For those who run like our scheme, in West Africa, a rate of 18.5, is only second to Guinea-Bissau. In Africa, it is at number 7 for the scheme we run. Okay. Now, if you are considering all mandatory schemes, then in Africa, we are around number 28. So then that's where those who say, let's increase the rate come in. Because you may have to increase the rate and also the benefit.
Do you think we should do that?
I think that on a personal level, I think that if you take a look at our pension contribution rate, quite significant numbers have been put in the optional bracket, which is the tier 3, what we call Provident Fund.
Yeah.
That's 16.5 there. There are many organizations that don't have that. If we make a portion of that mandatory and assign that, for instance, to SSNIT, it would help cushion the worker, because then it's no longer just an optional thing for an employer to decide, but it's one that is mandatory. If you add that 16.5 to our existing 18.5, it takes us to 35, which is only 2% below Senegal, for instance. It would immediately probably catapult us into number 2 in Africa from the current number 28 when you are looking at the total picture. So there are some conversations that we all need to sit at the round table as stakeholders and decide on without necessarily seeking to increase rates.
There should be a debate. But do you think that even the contributions that you have taken, and if we subject that to strict analysis and review, you've done well in terms of return on investment? Because some have said that post the pensions reforms, we look at the tier 2 and what they've done, and there are questions about really is SSNIT managing these funds very well?
I would say we commit ourselves to manage this fund well. Now, at times, some of these comparisons need to be...
It's not fair, right?
It's not fair.
Oranges.
Yeah, it's like they're like apples and oranges.
Yeah.
You have a tier 2 system that doesn't have a lot of maturities. They don't have to pay monthly pensions to 267,000 pensioners. The tier 2 funds only came in recently. A lot of people haven't even gone or matured to go for their benefits. As against a fund that has been there for 60 years.
But it was always coming, fresh funds were coming in.
So fresh funds were coming in, supporting. What is important for me at this point is that we need to expand on coverage, grow the numbers, improve on our returns on investment as we are doing, and in doing so, we'll build a more sustainable fund. And once we build a more sustainable fund, some of the concerns that our stakeholders have will naturally be addressed. Let me give you a story. When we came in, Trust Hospital had been making losses. We said it's unconscionable for a hospital of that size to be making losses. So we sat with the board and management of the hospital and developed a blueprint to turn around the hospital within 2 years. And we've done it. I mean, in 2024, the hospital made a loss of 25 million. Last year, they made a small loss, a little about 3 million. But from Q1, Q2, they made loss. Q1, the new management had not taken over. So they still made loss, 4.7 million thereabouts. By Q2, the loss had come down to about 1.9. By Q3, they were making profit. Q4, they made profit. Q1 this year, they've made profit. Because we made it clear that we will not bail out any subsidiary that should stand on their own and support the trust.
Their fees have been going up regularly.
Well, we need to compare to the private clinics. This is a private investment.
Okay.
We need to get the investment to protect you.
Yeah.
Once we are not outpricing out of the market and we are actually pricing within a certain median range, it is fair. But I just wanted to share this because it gives me the assurance that turnarounds can actually come much quicker than we had even initially projected. If you take LAPAM.
I'll come to the hospitality sector as but let me also throw this thing about proposals that let's look at extending the year that the pension a year as well. It's come up a lot of times as well. What do you make of those proposals in terms of if we are not touching the rate, what about allowing people to retire a little bit later? Because people retire and still go back into private sector and work because they want to save pension.
I agree that the demographic numbers have shifted rapidly. A lot more people today in Ghana are living longer, are much stronger even after 60. I agree. But a decision to extend retirement goes beyond just that.
Okay.
You need to consider factors like your employment rate, unemployment numbers. availability of jobs. So we all need to go and sit together as stakeholders, brainstorm, deliberate, and ultimately come to the point where we all make a decision than an individual institution like SSNIT deciding, guys, let's run. Because of course, if you extend the pension years from, let's say, 60 now to 65 or 67, what it practically means is that my payout now will reduce, whilst more contributions will come in. How do we juxtapose that against probably creating another backlog of 5-7 years on unemployed youth who could have come into the employment bracket? So we need, all of us need to sit down, look at the numbers, look at the various alternatives, the opportunity cost of taking a particular decision against the other, and then we take a much more comprehensive decision.
Quick back into your investment decisions and holdings. You were also very heavy in the manufacturing space as well. Are you scaling back or reviewing your investments and holdings in that particular sector as well?
We're reviewing our investments and holdings across all our asset classes. The focus is to ensure that we get the best returns from each one of them. Now, some of our manufacturing investee companies have done well, but obviously based on the numbers. The services sector is giving us better returns. The banking sector is giving us better returns. Telco is giving us better returns. Energy is giving us better returns. But manufacturing is also important because it's a catalyst for higher employment numbers. So we haven't shied away from that space. But we would analyze each proposal that comes onto our table based on the targeted return that we want to have and the payback period that was required to bring the investment back into our kitty to enable us to pay pensions.
Let's come to the hospitality space. And one area that rings the bell always has to do with La Palm and Labadi Beach Hotel. If the story that we hear that they are now making some good profits, does it mean that going forward as a shareholder, your worries are over, the companies are turning around? We don't need any fresh capital investment. We don't need to bring in any strategic investor to handle some of these spaces in terms of the hospitality sector, especially when it comes to Labadi Beach Hotel and La Palm Beach Hotel.
George, let me assure the people of Ghana that we will not sell any of our hotel investments.
That is generic. Selling could be that there are shares, strategic investor coming in. It could be a forceful takeover, and also help.
Let me give you some details. Labadi Beach Hotel is one of our best investments. In fact, they have consistently paid dividends year in, year out. Last year alone, based on 2024 numbers, they paid us 17.8 million cedis in dividend for the year 2024, but they paid it last year. This year, we expect the dividend to be paid by Labadi to be higher once their accounts are audited, to be higher than they paid last year. Last year, they made a PBT in excess of 67 million, with a profit after tax of in excess of 50 million. So clearly, if you go by their dividend payout ratio of 40%, they will pay higher than they did the previous year. The Golden Beach Group, which consists of La Palm, Elmina, Buzia, is challenged. So whilst we've sat with the board and management and strategized on a turnaround, we felt that we also needed technical insight and expertise from consultants. So we advertised for consultants to tender and provide us with a business blueprint on turning those hotels around in 5 years. We are evaluating that tender, and once we select the consulting firm to do that exercise and the report is ready, we will definitely engage stakeholders on what we want to do. But even before that, some of the accountability measures we put in place is beginning to yield results. La Palm last year, for the first time in fact, we don't even remember the last time La Palm made profit. It may be small, 1.8 million. But at least bigger things start with humble beginnings. The turnaround process is beginning. Now, you may say, oh, would a strategic investor, if a strategic investor is coming in, that can be considered as a sale. Let's say, please pick Elmina. Elmina today makes losses for you. Elmina requires extra injection of fresh capital to turn around. Let's say you sit with an investor and lease Elmina out and say, okay, this is the size of our investments. We are leasing it out for a period, pay us 10 million every year. Run it. If you make margin, it's for you. But invest in the assets to ensure that the asset is kept well and pay us, let's say, 10 million every year. You then moved from a negative return to one in which you are beginning to bring money into the kitty without even selling. But I'm not saying we have even gotten there. I'm just sharing with you some management models that could be adopted. But we would first have to wait and get the work done by the consultants. The report is in. We would look at it, but I can assure you, we will not sell any of them. To the contrary, we are actually engaging Labadi on expanding Labadi. The number of rooms that Labadi has. There are conversations today to expand Labadi. So it should tell you that where our investee companies are doing well, we are prepared to support and we'll make sure that we protect the workers' funds that we hold in a fiduciary.
So if I get from you, it's a no, that there isn't any attempt to bring in a strategic investor for Labadi Beach Hotel, because if the problem is a cash problem, that investor brings in fresh capital, that will not be described as a sale or, listen, George, George, there is absolutely no conversation anywhere about Labadi Beach Hotel. Why? Beach Hotel? When Labadi can even go to a bank today and borrow, because Labadi has one of the best balance sheets. So even if they decide not to come to SSNIT for funds and decides to go to the financial market, they'll be successful. If you make a decision to list Labadi Beach Hotel on the stock exchange today, they will be successful. So why sell? Lapam Beach Hotel?
Lapam Beach Hotel, we will not sell Lapam.
In this analysis, and I don't know what the consultant has said, is it a liquidity, a fresh capital injection problem, or it's a management problem?
Because the report isn't out, we can't predict what would come from the report. From a cursory understanding or a deep dive into Lapam from a banker, and now I'm speaking as an ex-banker, I think it's three things. I think it was a management problem that we've sought to solve now. I think it needed fresh capital injection to refresh the hotel up. But importantly, that hotel sits at a prime space. That's Ghana's only real proper beachfront property.
Yeah.
So whilst those two are being worked at, we need to tap into the advantage of its location and derive value from that investment.
What do you tell those who would say that you have boxed yourself in very, very hardcore stuff? Maybe the time has come to let somebody else who can manage these hospitality space for you well, so that you just concentrate on your core functions as a SSNIT fund management company.
Oh, clearly we are not hoteliers. So even Labadi that is not doing well, it's not managed
on
but for instance, they are not managed on a day-by-day basis by us.
Okay.
You have
Golden Beach. Yeah.
You have a management team in place. You have a board in place. We are only shareholders. And it's same for Lapam. They have a board in place. They have a management. So the engagements that we do have with them are shareholder engagements with management and boards, of similar to how a company listed on the stock exchange would have to account quarterly to its shareholders for its performance. That's what happens. Now, I get where you're coming from. Would they be better off with, let's say, Lapam becoming or being run by, let's say,
maybe a Lord investment, or a
Movenpick, or a Marriott or an Accor.
Yeah.
When those proposals come up, we'll have to review them as shareholders. and make a decision. But those are not sales. I mean, the fact that, for instance, the Marriott in Accra is not owned by Marriott.
Yeah.
Marriott owns the franchise and provides some management support. Similar options can be considered. But we have to be patient enough to wait for the reports to come through, which will then guide us on the way forward.
Let me also look at your real estate space as well. And there are people who are worried that we are seeing a property boom in Accra, or my son should be educated. It is going to burst very soon. You are very heavy in that space as well. Recently, you even had a media engagement about telling people to come and buy and all the rest. There are people who are worried that the bust is imminent. What guided your decisions into these real estate space that you are quite heavy in?
You know, we are also a social institution. So at a certain point in time, as a country, we needed accommodation for workers. That got us into the whole SSNIT housing that came up. And real estate, for many investors, will tell you, is good investment. So that's what guided the trust at that point in time. Under my administration, we have made a decision that direct foray into real estate, we will scale back and rather begin realizing some of the gains, because we have apartments that we are now selling. If you are not done selling what you've already built, why should you go and put more money into building? But irrespective of that, if today we have land banks all across and we need to partner others to build with our land as equity, we would consider it. Because in that context, we're also protecting the land and bringing value to the trust. So it depends on the kind of investment. But us going to put fresh capital into building new properties, we have decided until we sell the current ones, we will not.
What is the plan to bring on fresh contributors to this scheme? Because you see the young generation and the salary packs and all the rest, and I believe that there's a lot of them who are not even thinking that they will come, they'll go on pension.
It's to make the scheme attractive beyond what I came to meet. The scheme that we have today has a very solid value proposition. The pensions that we provide are one of the best globally. Our invalidity, do you know that, for instance, if you become permanently incapable of working and you've only contributed for 12 months out of 36 months, you qualify for invalidity pension. The youngest pensioner today is 32 years. There are pensioners on our invalidity pension earning in excess of 20,000. This is a scheme that protects and rewards. Now, beyond the core benefits, what we sought to do is to introduce things that we call beyond pensions, which is part of our strategy to enhance the value proposition and make the scheme attractive. And that is what informed the decision, for instance, to introduce telehealth, which we just launched yesterday. In July, we'll be launching the member value proposition that enables our members to get discounts from partner organizations that we deal with. Because for the informal sector particularly, at times telling them that join the scheme, get pensions many years ahead of you. For some of them, the alternatives that are available offer them some propositions that are more attractive. If he's done a susu and he's hard up, he can go and collect. So for him, that long-term view may not be attractive. So whilst we will continue to make people aware of the benefits of the scheme, we are trying to also introduce other things that makes the scheme attractive in the short run, so that people would want to opt to be part of the scheme beyond enforcement. That's one. Two, we are making joining the scheme very seamless and easy. You don't need to, as it is today, you don't need to move into any office of ours in the comfort of your phone. You can just sign yourself up and you are done, bingo. You can change nominations, you can make payments, you can even pay when you want, because in the informal sector, people are not paid lump sums or defined amounts at the end of each month. So today he gets 200 too. So our payment instruments on our digital channels are such that if today you want to put 50 cedis aside, tomorrow 10 cedis aside, you can actually build up until the sum that is required to pay each month is ready before it moves into our wallet. We are making sure that we are making accessibility to us easy. We are making sure that we are attractive. We are making sure that we are letting people know the benefits of the scheme, because people ought to be aware. Our engagements are strong. Recently, I toured the whole country with the TUC. Met the TUC leadership across all the regions. We listened to them and got feedback, which is informing some of the initiatives we are putting into place. Okay.
Inflation is going up. I don't know when next is going up to about 3.7 as well. In terms of your indexation and all those things review, when are we going to see the next reviews? Not tied to particular date, but do you think that as time goes on, you're looking at also other options to review this indexation and ensure that those who might be the lower band will still get something more than what they are taking up now?
We always take care of the underprivileged ones amongst us. The next indexation would actually be in January 2027. But there are also things that we are working on. You know, when I came in, I looked at the World Bank data on what extreme poverty is. And it said anyone earning below $2 a day. So I got the actuarial team to do an analysis for me to see if we could explore moving those at the lowest end to that benchmark. I realized, no. The numbers wouldn't support that. But we are currently working on an initiative, and we are going through the numbers. What we are seeking to do is to introduce a product, especially for the informal sector, such that you can define for yourself that I don't want my pension to be below extreme poverty levels. So right from day one, you know how much you are contributing would assure you that by the time you are on pension, we will be paying you a pension that is above that, because our strategy is to see how we can lift as many people out of the extreme poverty bracket into a safer zone.
Next year, 2027, I'll be back to engage you to find out how all these strategies have impacted the bottom line, the contribution of the funds, its activity, its returns, and all those things. This has been PM Express Business Edition, engaging the Director General of the Social Security and National Insurance, Mr. Christy Afrebani, on a lot of options that they are putting in place to deal with any sustainability concerns and ensure that 40 years from now, the scheme will still be working. I appreciate your time so much, and I'll come back again to see how things have turned around in terms of the management strategies that you put in place there.
Thank you very much, George. It will be an exciting opportunity to review the year under review and to share the success story with you.
This has been PM Express Business Edition. Have a great day. The debate is to go on in your homes and offices about what more can be done to sustain this scheme going forward. My name is George Wiafe. Have a great day.
It's barely 1 year since our last visit to Sabonjida DA Basic School. The PTA chairman's embrace tells the story better than words ever could.
Good to see you. Good to see you. People, we thank you very much. We thank you. We very appreciate your words.
A year ago, the people of Sabonjida were pleading for help. Their children squeezed into overcrowded classrooms. Kindergarten people learned in exposed spaces. Teachers struggled to stay. Parents worried that the future of their children were being built on neglect.
This is my head. This is my mouth.
Today, the community is finally beginning to see results.
Yeah, we like the progress that has happened.
We like you because of you that we are seeing this thing. We are very, very rarely very happy about your coming to this, our Sabonjida community. Since some people came here and it wasn't like you came. You did a lot. You deliver our problem to the government and we have seen some progress going on.
Behind him stands the most visible sign of that progress. A 6-unit classroom block with offices, a library, store and sanitation facilities. The structure is still under construction, but for a community that spent years waiting for decent classrooms, even unfinished walls represent something powerful, a proof that their voices were heard.
The school is going on. They have come here and access, and they have continued our 6-unit classroom. We are very, 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 very happy. Our community is saying that you get our problem and you didn't sit on it. You send it up, and now it is working on your behalf.
Yes. 250. That's good. Clavers for him.
The intervention followed years of difficult learning conditions. 2 classes have to share a single classroom. One teacher often had to split attention between 2 different syllabi at the same time. For learners and teachers alike, concentration was always a challenge.
Looking at the number of learners and how we combine them is not helping teaching and learning. P3 and P4 are boxed together, which they are supposed to be separated. So sometimes you take something to teach. Whilst you are teaching P4 syllabus, the P3 learners are disadvantaged. And when you switch to the P3, the P4 ones are also disadvantaged there. So it's not really helping. If these classes are completed in good time and we move, I think it will solve this situation. Oh yeah, we'll be very, very glad. We'll be very, very glad to move in there.
Is she correct? Yes. Give it to her. Yeah.
The impact of the changes is already becoming visible. School authorities say enrollment has risen sharply from about 125 pupils recorded in November 2024. The school now has more than 250 children enrolled. Many of the new admissions are in the lower primary classes. When the school ran out of space for its youngest learners, the Jesus is the Door Church opened its auditorium for classes during weekdays. The arrangement shields the children from the scorching sun and also keeps lessons going whenever it rains.
Here that the children are sitting, and now we have gotten some church, which is Jesus Door Church. They accepted us to send the KG1, KG2, KG3 to their block.
But the most remarkable response came from the community itself. Faced with no accommodation for teachers in the community, residents pooled their resources and started building a 4-bedroom teachers' quarters. For a community struggling to attract and retain teachers, a decent accommodation became a priority.
Community have seen what you have come to say to us, and we all contribute, and we have some money, a little, and we are putting teachers' bungalow, which is 4 bedrooms, and we wanted to put bathroom to the kitchen, also 1. We are on it that we will do that. And because what you have done, we will not sit down. We also say that when there is a lot of teachers, and when they come to our community, they don't have somewhere to sleep.
I'm staying with the PTA chairman's house. They had to move some children out of a room and offered me in that room. At the inconvenience of the family, about 3-4 children were in a room, and they had to move them out because of me. But thankfully, the community has started a project for the teachers, so which we hope that when completed, it will help us.
This program, supported by the Education Out Loud, is looking at enhancing citizens' ability to be able to engage duty bearers to open up spaces in terms of quality education delivery.
School for Life, the organization supporting citizen engagement through citizen-led action for educational accountability and responsiveness, Sabonjida demonstrates what can happen when communities move beyond complaints and become active participants in finding solutions.
The impact has been great. For the past couple of years that we have embarked on this project, significant progress has been made in terms of enhancing duty bearer responsiveness to the issues that the citizen groups have identified within their communities, the lack of infrastructure, the lack of teachers, the lack of teacher accommodation. These are the major issues affecting quality education delivery in the communities. And the citizen groups have been able to identify these gaps and bringing them to the attention of duty bearers at the local level for them to respond to. And across the project districts, you are witnessing progress in terms of responding to the infrastructure needs, in terms of teacher availability. We are seeing that there's progress. Our work, our collaborative work with these institutions would ensure that even after the project, the actions are still ongoing and that they are responding to the needs of these marginalized groups, based on the pressure that also the citizen groups will put on the local authorities.
We are very privileged for the School for Life. And this our community, what the School for Life is doing to us. Some of the children here, they have been, even they are now high SS, and some are even been to the university. And due to the School for Life in this Sabonjida, they have helped us a lot.
The transformation in Sabonjida is still a work in progress. The classrooms are not yet complete. The community is still pushing for more teachers and school feeding. But where there was once frustration, there is now momentum. Parents, teachers, community leaders and duty bearers are all playing a role in shaping a better learning environment for the children.
The narrative of pupils of Sabonjida DA Basic School having to learn in a poor infrastructure is gradually becoming a thing of the past, with the construction of the 6-unit classroom block for the community. The pupils and teachers are excited that this project will finish soon and give them hope to chase their dreams. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Sabonjida, Tatale Sangole District, Northern Region.
This house was once somebody's dream. A 3-bedroom home filled with family, laughter, kids playing around. But today, it's akin to an eco park. Weeds, plants, snakes. It's all falling apart. Join me on a journey to put this house in good shape. need to bring this house back to life. Yes, we will. Let's do this.
My name is Albert Sori in the Upper East Regional Capital, Bolgatanga, and this is Joy News, independent, fearless, credible.
Imagine a family without a home. Imagine a song without a voice.
Forgoing a dream of pursuing law so her parents can cater for her other siblings, and forgoing office for career progression due to childcare did not stop Dr. Umu Makwe from attaining academic excellence, which propelled her to achieve goals she set for herself.
We grew up knowing that education was everything. Because my dad used to tell us that he didn't have money to give us, but he had education to give us. So he paid for all our fees, he ensured we studied, he used to learn with us.
Wow.
He bought all the books. He didn't have much.
Wow, that's good.
But he always encouraged us to learn.
Yeah.
So those who knew me from primary, secondary school, my life has always been learning.
Learning, wow.
Because
no
my
wonder.
dad said I could be anything
You want
on
to
this
be.
earth if I learn.
That's great.
So I was very serious with my academics.
This did not come on a silver platter, as obstacles at home hindered her academically.
I was doing all the household chores. All the house after school, you see me cooking, cleaning, fetching water. Those times we used to walk miles to go and get water. I was always tired. I didn't know anything like learning after school. There was nothing like your parents, like my dad used to read to us and all that, but going through my homework with me, I never had that. And my grades were always low in primary school. And I remember one day my dad came to school because my grades were low. He told them that, oh, don't worry, she'll drop out of school soon.
Wow.
She'll be selling cocoa. And they all started calling me Cocoa Seller. The Cocoa Seller. It became my nickname. I cried. It affected my
Definitely would.
Morale.
Yeah.
Inferiority complex sets in. I sat back and I asked myself, what can I do? When I come home, I'll choose what to do. And then the rest of the time will be for my learning. That was when my grades started picking up.
Wow.
So learning is very important.
Very
Spending
important.
time with your kids is very important.
Yes, that one decision changed the course of her life, and today she's duplicated same in her home.
You always have to choose what is important at every stage of your life. So they will not be case for forever. So maybe the next 5 years, this is what I want to do. I want to spend time with my kids. It's a decision. It doesn't mean you shouldn't work. You work, you prioritize your time. It's very important. You drop the kids in school, you are working. After work, what do I do with my time? Do I go and sit with friends and chat? Honestly, I used to like watching TV a lot. Now, I don't remember the last time I watched TV proper, in quotes. Some calls I can't even pick. Because that 1 hour, maybe there are some calls that are maybe concern calling, so back 1 hour. Some concern time, no. I can sit down with the kids and teach them something.
That's true.
You see? So it's not every program that I'm able to attend. And wedding and program it's a decision.
It's a decision.
Because you're not going to be case forever. You see, so that's what I do and it works for me.
The daily routine of Dr. Umu's children testify of her dedication to see them succeed.
We are going through your notes, your textbook. What did you learn? You are getting feedback. What can I do? So after dinner, we are learning. After learning, sometimes my daughter will say, Mommy, tell me a story. I have to tell all the stories before she sleeps.
That's also another form of learning.
Yes.
Yeah. She picks moral lessons, she picks words, she speaks sentences.
Yes.
So it's all part of the learning.
Oh, my firstborn, I used to read to her every evening.
I like my mother because she's a disciplinarian. She always disciplines
explains us in the right way. I also like my mother because she is kind and hardworking.
I like my mother because she's there for me and she tells me stories.
Motherhood, however, came with a big price. Turning down career and scholarly offers so she could be close to her children.
I can see your busy schedule, but still you are doing your best to have that time. How do you manage it? Because not everybody has that.
At every point in time, you have to take a decision. You choose which one is important at every stage in your life. There are roles that I can't take because I may want to have time for the kids. There are appointments I get elsewhere. There are opportunities, a lot of opportunities, maybe a fellowship for 2 years without your family. There are a lot of things that I get. But at that time, what is important?
Your children.
The former head of department at UPSA confidently attributes her ability to balance work and family life to this firm decision she took on choices. Umu is grateful for the support system she enjoyed, which she says aided her motherhood journey.
You may see a mother, a corporate mother, trying to do everything at the same time. Sometimes we are quick to compare. When somebody complains, then others are quick to compare. Oh, but how come this person is doing this? You don't know the person's social support system. Social support system plays a very important role in the lives of working mothers. When you investigate to find out how those women are doing in terms of balancing, you realize there's always a support system. Others have their mothers helping them. Others have their sisters. Others have in-laws who come in almost every weekend to help. But if you don't have it that way, you have to plan time. With social support system, in fact, my mother-in-law did very well when I gave birth. And then my mom also she plays her role. See, sometimes people that you don't even know that they will be supportive. Friends. There are friends that will call and say that, do you need any help? But if it's overwhelming, the helps, sometimes you may not need a stay-in help. We have helps that they can come and wash your clothes for you. They can come and clean the house. In fact, I'm thinking of getting one recently because I can see that as you age, you are not strong like before. Because the least thing, you are tired. You can't prove to the world that you can do it all and break down. When you are sick, who is there to take care of your kids? You see, so it's very important. The support system is very important.
Dr. Umu Marquis' life is impacting many beyond her home. Her students appreciate that she plays the roles of both educator and mother.
One of the things I appreciate most about Dr. Umu was her peculiar interest in me as a person and in my work. So she was like, Erica, bring me the work. Erica, have you finished the work? Erica, where is the work? And she was, on top of me throughout my journey, and, she put me on my toes. And I believe that also helped me to put in my best. No, she's not somebody who will just take the work and but she would actually read and even mark your punctuations. She's that detailed, and I really appreciate that.
She's so detailed. She's not just those people who just sign it and go. No, she will take her time, go through page by page, and look for the errors and all that needs to be cleared. Then the other thing is that her quest for excellence. If it is good, she wants to do very good. If it is excellent, she wants to do outstanding. There is always something extraordinary about her. And that is one thing I always like about her. And the fact that she doesn't keep it to herself, but she looks forward to impacting others.
I've known Dr. Umu for quite a year now, and I must say she's a very friendly, jovial, caring person. And whatever assignments or tasks she even gives to you, she sees to it that you successfully complete it under her guidance. She's a little hard on us, but with that itself, it goes a long way in correcting us.
Her colleagues are overwhelmed at how she easily unifies and attributes which fosters growth at any organization.
She knows her stuff. When she's doing anything, she's serious about it.
And she's also very, should I say, she likes to bring people together, you know, and that's a motherly figure, you know, but also in scholarship, helping others to come along is very important, and that's one thing that she does well. She's doing a great job in terms of guiding them as to become children who know the Lord, children who take responsibility, you know, at home and at school. And I'm not surprised that they are doing very well too. And she's a believer in the Lord. That's very important. And anybody who believes in the Lord is successful according to Joshua 1:8.
Dr. Marquis' therapy for such a demanding schedule is tendering her flowers and embarking on daily walks. As a sociologist, Dr. Umu advises mothers against taking on tasks and chores without adequate resting periods.
I've done a lot of research on work-life balance of working mothers in academia and other corporate organizations. And the struggle is real. Work-life balance is very important. Balancing is where the problem is. You want to be a good enough mother. You want to be a perfect career woman. Can you do both at the same time? Is it possible? That you want to be in the lives of your kids. You want to excel in your career. What do? Women are trying to play both roles simultaneously, and it affects a lot of things. It affects their psychosocial well-being, their mental health. It affects their general health, like their physical health. It affects everything about them. So you need to be intentional about your life. You need to, you should have me times. Doesn't mean that you ignore the kids totally. If you need to relax, you should have a hobby. What keeps you going? If you don't have help, what do? You have to be everywhere at the same time. So you need to give yourself attention, because we've had women that have died out of high blood pressure. You want to be a good enough mother, you want to be the best at your workplace, and then your pressure is just going up. They ignore themselves, they don't even go to the hospitals, no checkups, nothing. There are times you don't even eat. When I gave birth, the last one, there were times that I go to the lecture hall, I forget that I've not eaten. Like, you know, I get to the lecture hall before I remember that I've not eaten. You are lecturing and then you can see that you are feeling dizzy. Hey, breastfeeding mother. Then I'll just take a break and get snack. I remember there was a time one of my colleagues told me that, at least take banana when you're coming. Because not that I do it intentionally. You may lose yourself. So while we try to be perfect mothers, we try to be the best in our careers, we should not forget about ourselves. What do you seek to gain if you are not alive to enjoy the fruits of your labor?
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odame.
Did you know that Ghana currently spends more than 8 billion Ghana cedis annually importing food that can be produced locally? That is why this June, Joy Business and the Super Morning Show, in partnership with the Federation of Associations of Ghanaian Exporters, FAGE, bring you the Joy Agribusiness Month 2026 under the theme, From Soil to Sovereignty, Building Ghana's Agricultural Self-Reliance Through Innovation. Join us on the Joy Super Morning Show, Joy News, and across Joy Business platforms for a month-long national conversation on Ghana's food security and agribusiness future. Week 1 focuses on government policy, trade and financing for food sovereignty. Week 2 explores research, innovation, mechanization. Week 3 examines infrastructure, value addition, youth participation and agricultural financing, while Week 4 highlights opportunities across key horticulture value chains. The final week looks at consumer power and Ghana's roadmap to food sovereignty by 2030. Stay tuned to Joy FM and Joy News.
Numerous cases of people falling asleep have been reported across the African continent. No one can explain this phenomenon.
With 24/7 FIFA World Cup coverage, sleep can wait. Everything can wait.
Catch all 104 matches from as little as 58 Ghana cedis only on DSTV. We're kicking your year off in all her glory with more because we got you.
You get it?
We got kicks. We got scores. We got action. We got roars.
It's my specialty.
We got drama. We got fun. We got more for everyone with an upgrade on us just for you. More channels, more shows, more reasons to stay.
We got you.
DSTV, we got you all the way.
So we share 3,000 now. They chat 1 year.
Red. And the budget is becoming more like a mafia situation where if you are not very careful, it's going to engulf all of us.
Ghana's Galamsey fight has a hidden engine, a pay-to-destroy syndicate operating in the shadows.
Me as the mama
if somebody must be in prison, it's those district chief executives and ministers and others who are doing the Galamsey.
Ghana's illegal mining crisis has taken a darker turn. Despite promises, policies and political declarations, the destruction rages on. Our rivers run brown, our forests are hollowed out, and our communities choke on poisoned water and abandoned pits. For years, illegal miners have been blamed. But what if the real crisis is not merely the illegal miners, but an institutional marketplace where government officials turn environmental destruction into a revenue stream?
Tax sources can never be said as fighting illegal mining, but rather extracting monies and creating problems.
In this documentary, we expose the coordinated extortion scheme, now an organized network involving district authorities, NADMO officials, and a district chief executive himself. A network stealing from the people, enabling illegal mining, and accelerating the environmental genocide unfolding across forests and river systems in the Amansi Central District of the Ashanti region.
They have actually also more or less evolve certain methods, certain technologies where they can combine all manner of metals and cause damage to the brain. They can cause damage to the kidneys. They can cause damage to the liver. They can cause damage to the lungs. They can cause damage to the gastrointestinal tract. And the eventual effect is that this patient may end up developing cancers.
If the president is so minded in fighting illegal mining, then it should start with his appointees. And by appointees, I always refer to the MMDCs, because many of them are neck deep in Galamsey corruption.
According to the Forestry Commission, 44 out of 288 forest reserves have been invaded and harmed. Beneath the crisis are acts of bribery and corruption. Illegal payments, extortion, sanctioned by those elected and appointed to protect our resources. Our investigation began as whispers of an organized extortion scheme kept resurfacing, with stories shared quietly among miners who speak only in cautious tones. The fragmented accounts pointed towards a task force allegedly operating under the authority of the District Chief Executive of Amansia Central, Emmanuel Obeng Ajeman. According to the patterns we observed, miners were said to be paying 3,000 Ghana cedis for every Chanfan machine, one leg as it is termed, while others pay 30,000 Ghana cedis and more for every excavator in usage. Our investigation also uncovered receipts and warrant stickers being issued to guarantee uninterrupted illegal operations when payments were made.
The whole issue, I don't want country and the police for them. If you go back, even though some more years more for less than and more money, and the one that will miss it, started at 700. So don't get me. So if I know you for you, and when you are there, I'm not talking to our body from fast with
These allegations demanded the deeper inquiry, but our strongest evidence came from a recorded phone call with the District Chief Executive. In the tape, he confirms that the task force collects monies and that it operates under his instructions.
Assembly may as DC, Mama na Flapping and so on. One of a mining desk officer. It is a Aquanian, Tennessee, and Nanya, fine, ye can't want them. And I'm going to say, the Benya already complaints is here. Or started Maui almost 1 month on one leg. Mine is on your encounter. My friend, almost 20. One more friend encounter. Obi a wafre mi bia ni ho a me ma people ndi afre malam me ka che ne say ene ne nkokasa na ya ma ne 2 minutes wonde.
It is at this point that we confirm the cash payment in exchange for Galamsey. Undercover, we infiltrated the Jakobu Township, the seat of the District Assembly, posing as illegal miners operating at Eskesu, one of the mining communities. It is time for us to uncover the loot. We secretly filmed every process and navigated the community on motorbikes. The assembly is where we intend to make payments and confirm every illegal mining scandal. Our undercover operation led us to Philemon, a receptionist at the District Assembly. He greeted us and with apparent willingness agreed to help us procure a warrant sticker for our Galamsey operation. He called one district engineer who would later send us contact to the mining desk officer himself.
Afternoon. Good afternoon.
Boss Macho, okay, your baby to stick out.
Okay, to stick out. And see, Onim, Mame, Odemodion, Mame, Miss Officer in Kasawai. It is no matter the man and I'm more in the Panakasawai.
All right.
Yeah, trust stick out.
Hours passed as we waited for the mining desk officer and leader of the task force, a man known interchangeably as Red, Malam or Nana, who also served as the community's chief imam. Our wait was prolonged because he was reportedly out on an operation collecting the tax from illegal miners. Payments were allegedly collected on Mondays and Wednesdays alone. Later, we managed to speak with the head of the mining desk on phone. He confirmed the 3,000 Ghana cedi payments for Chamfan machines and instructed us to wait for his arrival, which was very uncertain.
One leg, you know.
Bachani.
Would you have a moment, bro? But the fire
the fire.
The fire.
A better and keep a see Kobe Picacra.
45 minutes.
Wow.
Looking at Cabecca and to me, because he has said your Kumasi.
It's weird you would say that a state that has called, irresponsible mining terrorism is then at the same time facilitating this through what is seemingly even state sanctioned, right? Because there are receipts that are involved. It means that the state infrastructure is accounting for its support and its own implications into it. So it's a strange arrangement where the state now is in itself an illegal miner.
Our investigation points to serious breaches of the law by state officials entrusted to protect the public. Under the Minerals and Mining Act 2006, Act 703, facilitating or providing cover for illegal mining constitutes a criminal offense. Evidence gathered shows that officials who offered protection and collected payments may have crossed the line from regulators to accomplices. These actions potentially violate the Criminal Offences Act 1960, Act 29, which criminalizes corruption and abuse of public office, as well as the Public Financial Management Act 2016, Act 921, which prohibits unauthorized collection of public funds. The conduct of the District Chief Executive also raises questions under the Local Government Act 2016, Act 936, while the environmental damage may contravene the Environmental Protection Agency Act 1994, Act 490. With our investigation at the Assembly corroborated, we proceeded to some of the illegal mining sites at Eskesu. Here, the environmental destruction is starkly evident. Farmlands are gone, water bodies choked with sediment. At Eskesu, we met some illegal miners who detailed the exact process for making payments for Chamfal machines.
One machine money over 20,000.
Into no excavator bako
30,000. 30,000.
Master.
One, this will put a million, but my doing 50,000, 60,000. Wow.
And I Chamfal is
3,000. That's a local.